Hello, my name is Richard, and with my wife Helen, we are cruise content creators and video journalists. We're no strangers to river cruising, and we've enjoyed many Uniworld voyages around the world and want to show you one of their fabulous and quite unique itineraries in an area of the world steeped in history, culture, and improbability. We recommend watching till the end, where we will be providing details and an alluring peek of the stunning pre-cruise land extension of Milan and Verona. But before that, welcome aboard SS La Venezia, and welcome to Venice. The moment you step aboard La Venezia, you'll immediately feel an affinity with your geographical surroundings. The interiors of each one of Uniworld's fleet of luxury river vessels is designed to envelop you in the rich cultures of the location in which she is sailing. You may have already heard that every single Uniworld river ship is unique from her sisters, individually and sympathetically designed to be at one with her surroundings, the cultural focus of her itineraries being at the forefront of her interior design remit. La Venezia is rich with Venetian flourishes that already absorb you into the city you are about to explore. Your stateroom or suite, in true Uniworld style, vividly captures the Venetian flair that surrounds you on shore. Just as Uniworld ships are unique from each other, so is the design of your accommodation. Even the bedding is custom created to match the ship's individual boutique style. Whether you're in a stateroom or a suite, La Venezia is your very own Renaissance-style floating home that will ensure that every morning your balcony or window will deliver yet another jaw-dropping vista. The flavours of Venice don't stop there. Your cuisine on board is a creative mixture of classic Uniworld favourite dishes you've come to know and love, and locally inspired dishes coupled with a selection of wines that add local Italian flavours and aromas to your palate. On-board immersion doesn't stop there, and if you've any energy left after a day exploring the islands of the lagoon, there's enough evening entertainment to accompany all those delicious complimentary cocktails, including nightly port talks by the cruise manager, local and cultural entertainers brought on board exclusively for one night only. There's even a 70s night, so don't forget to raid your wardrobe for something groovy you had long banished into the shadows of the decade that taste forgot. We've introduced you to the ship, but SS La Venezia is only part of the story. Let's discover the itinerary and show you what you can expect from Uniworld's team of knowledgeable local guides. Here's the highlights of what we enjoyed on our week-long cruise. Our first full day in the lagoon was an outstanding start to the week. The day of highlights and exclusive access to Venice's biggest treasures. An early morning short stroll to Doge's Palace meant we had almost the whole palace to ourselves and a chance to marvel and stroll at leisure through this magnificent collection of priceless works of art and grand apartment chambers full of the Doge's personal artifacts, topped with impeccable hand-painted ceilings, all housed in buildings of the finest Byzantine, Gothic and Renaissance architecture. As the labyrinth of canals warmed quickly in the height of the Venetian summer sun, we enjoyed a walking tour of the Castello region before heading back to the ship for a spot of lunch as the captain let go of our lines for an introductory scenic sailing along the Giudecca Canal, as we relaxed under the shades of the sun deck, sipping perfectly chilled drinks brought around by the lovely bar staff. There's no better way to introduce yourself to this ancient floating city than viewed from the lagoon itself, a perspective you simply cannot get if you choose to stay on land. An early evening dinner prepared us for another stroll in the cooling temperatures of the setting sun, this time to St. Mark's Basilica, one of Italy's most impressive and famous treasures. Uniworld guests have the privilege of private after-hours access to the Basilica, and the highlight of this exclusive guided tour is a switching on of the ceiling lights, which gradually reveals the shimmering sight above you, the incredible and dominant gold mosaic frescoes. This priceless ceiling, adorned with hundreds of ancient biblical scenes and angelic icons, will take your breath away, and the leisurely tour that follows will even take you into the legendary crypt, the atmospheric epicenter of the cathedral that once hid the remains of St. Mark himself, and today houses the tombs of the most high patriarchs of Venice. Uniworld are the only large river cruise company with permission to dock overnight in the beautiful island of Burano, situated in the northern region of the lagoon. A stroll through this colourful island and you'll be forgiven for thinking you'd stumbled on a film set with its narrow canals, winding through streets of shops and houses with their immaculate facades of pastel tones and bright flashes of colour. Bring your camera, for it's an absolute dream destination for photography lovers. Verona is also known as the Island of Lace, as lace makers perpetuate the historic art of weaving threads into delicate fabrics. Since the 13th century, the furnaces of the island of Murano have produced a quality of glass renowned throughout the world for its purity. Venice has always been a world centre of fine glass production, and a Uniworld tour of a glass factory, including a glass-blowing demonstration, is an absolute must. Seeing the craftsmen at work is a fascinating introduction to the island's many incredible glass producers, who will happily furnish you with one of their exquisite creations. In our opinion, a river cruise is not complete without a bicycle ride through one of the locations visited, and this cruise was no exception. Our complimentary cycling excursion through the southernmost and most historic location of Chioggia was enormous fun, and we enjoyed frequent stops as our guide told us the history of the area. In addition to the organised tours, there is ample time and opportunity to explore Venice by foot on your own and at your own pace. La Venezia is perfectly placed for the short stroll to the heart of the city, the district of San Marco, one of 6 neighbourhoods to explore and the one that best embodies the spirit, architectural creativity and historical essence of the Serenissima. In addition to the Grand Canal, which snakes through the very centre of Venice, there are a multitude of smaller waterways that form a labyrinth of 177 additional canals, and these are best viewed from the multitude of bridges that cross them as gondolas weave their way through them to the delight of their tourist patrons. The gondolier is a profession born out of the need to navigate the city's network of canals over the centuries, meandering their shallow-bottom boats carrying goods and produce to businesses and markets of ancient Venice. Today, the cargo is mostly gleeful tourists keeping the profession alive, and in Venice, there are just over 400 gondoliers who are carefully trained and regulated to ensure the historic vocation lives on to the highest standard. A trip to Venice is not complete without a trip to the Rialto Bridge and the adjacent historic Rialto Market. An architectural feat, the Rialto Bridge spans the canal with a single massive arch completed in 1591. Close by to the bridge, under the neo-Gothic arcades of the Loggia della Pesceria, built in 1907, the fish market is a fascinating place to stop and observe. Since the 11th century, the stalls here bring together the vegetables of Sant'Erasmo and the fish from the Adriatic daily, and it's a wonderful place to take in the sights, smells and sounds of this long-held trading centre in such a historic setting. There are so many hidden gems as you meander through the city's network of fondamentas. You'll not want to leave, but a quick glance of the 12th century sunray clock of the Church of St. James of Rialto will tell you that it's time to return to the ship. And if you feel you've walked far enough, travel like a true Venetian and pick up a local vaporetti, one of the city's numerous water buses that chug up and down the main canals. Or return to the ship in style on one of the beautiful polished wood veneered water taxis, which is included in your Rialto Market walking tour. If that's not a deep enough delve into one of Italy's most loved cultural centres, Uniworld also offer a fabulous pre-cruise stay in Milan, and let's just say there's more than enough to tempt you into this 2-night land extension. Let me show you how wonderful this is. Your stay begins in the heart of Milan in the Rosa Grande Hotel. This is Uniworld's preferred hotel, and it's just like their ships, ornate, full of rich details and, of course, touches of luxury. Your first port of call will be the Santa Maria del Grazie Church and Convent to see something truly remarkable. Viewing Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper, one of the world's most renowned and mysterious works of art, with your own eyes and up close is something you're never ever likely to forget. Getting the opportunity to admire this masterpiece is a unique experience, and tickets are extremely limited and must be booked months in advance. Not so for Uniworld guests, for your tickets will be waiting for you to enjoy a unique and breathtaking small group viewing experience. You can't come to Milan without exploring this wonderful city, and an afternoon walking tour takes in all the details and history, finishing up at the Duomo di Milano at the very heart of the city. This Gothic masterpiece took 500 years to build and is the 5th largest church in the world. It is truly a mind-blowing experience. Day 2 of your Milan land extension takes you to Verona before the crowds arrive for a walking tour of this ancient city, famous for 2 little-known teenagers made famous by William Shakespeare, who fell in love, much to the anger of their feuding families, the fateful Romeo and Juliet. You'll visit Juliet's balcony, where she called out for Romeo, then Romeo's house, then free time in the pretty square, followed by a walk to the amphitheatre. Yes, these 2 days cover a lot of ground. Verona may have romance, but lunch will be served to you somewhere rather more special. It's one of the most prestigious and historic Venetian estates with a tradition for winemaking going back more than 650 years. Serrego Alighieri is a 14th century wine estate surrounded by the rolling hills of Valpolicella. The property was purchased in 1353 by the son of the poet Dante Alighieri, who is considered one of the greatest poets of all time. 21 generations later, the descendants still own this beautiful, sprawling 247-acre estate, and Uniworld guests have the privilege of having lunch here, accompanied of course with generous glasses of the estate's most well-regarded wines. With free time to explore Milan before your transfer to Venice, this land extension is a must-do if you are to fully experience this beautiful and historic part of Italy. Like each of Uniworld's bespoke ships, this voyage is uniquely designed, thoughtfully curated, and will leave you thrilled to the very last day. It's simply the most perfect way to explore Venice and the surrounding area.